And Barakta Yahweh, Barakatha, Yahweh Shah, Barakta Yahweh, Barakatha, Yahweh Shah, Bashem, Rakak, Wadash, double honor to the apostles, the elders, salutations to you, sincere brothers, teaching in truth and in sincerity. This lesson will be entitled, By Now. Lord will, you are edified. My source, Fox Business, article entitled, Billionaire Supermarket CEO, By Now. Food inflation will only get much worse. Published March 15th, 2022. John Catsimatidis, the billionaire owner and CEO of New York City supermarket chain Gristedes, urged Americans to buy now because food inflation will only get much worse. I've seen prices, it's like I've seen price increases coming through for the month of March. I've seen them coming through April and May between price increases and shrinkflation, where it used to be 32 ounces. Now it's going to be 28 ounces. It's anywhere from a 12 to a 20% increase in food prices. Catsimatidis told Brian Kilmeade on Fox and Friends Tuesday. The billionaire CEO encouraged Americans nationwide to stock up on their favorite products to get a better return on your investment, especially if prices soar over the next 3 or 4 months. So this lesser luminary is telling you that things are going to get much worse. He's an insider, and he knows. But most importantly, the prophets of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah, beginning with the apostles of Great Millstone, has been telling you this for years. Okay? Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember now your Creator, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, in the days of your youth, while the evil days come not. And I promise you, things will get much worse. Evil means what? Bad times. And bad times are approaching. Nor the years draw near, when you shall say, I have no pleasure in them. Verse 2, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. The cool of the day, going into a symbolic meaning when the prophets are prophesying, is approaching an end. All right, there is going to be a lot of bloodshed, a lot of death, in the form of the sword, famines, robbery, pestilence, because plagues just means judgment. Judgment from who? Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. All right. Why do you think that this world is populated with so many people? Judgment. Judgment. Second Ezra 15:12. Egypt shall mourn. Egypt. America is modern day Egypt, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague. Plague is nothing but judgment and punishment that the Most High shall bring on it. Verse 14, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Right. And that's literal. Let's jump down. Verse 19, a man shall have no pity on his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. As these food prices inflate, people salaries need to inflate. However, Esau is not doing this. Why? Because he's trying to bring in that new system, going into the new world order. Crashing the dollar, okay, is part of the Great Reset. And he's attempting to do this to attain the blessing, referring to the kingdom of heaven. The nobility of Edom is extremely sinister. Inflation and debt. For several years, a heated debate has raged among economists and policymakers about whether we face a serious risk of inflation. That, that debate has focused largely on the Federal Reserve. All right. And the Federal Reserve is owned by the nobility of Edom. It's nothing federal about it, especially on whether the Fed has been too aggressive in increasing the money supply, whether it has kept interest rates too low, and whether it can be relied on to reverse course of signs of inflation emerge. But these questions miss a grave danger. As a result, of the federal government's enormous debt and deficits, substantial inflation could break out in America in the next few years. This article was published fall 2011. If people become convinced that our government will end up printing money to cover intractable deficits, they will see inflation in the future and so will try to get rid of dollars today. Now remember, Esau is pushing for a digital system, and this article reports what? Food inflation will only get much worse. Driving up the prices of goods, services, and eventually wages across the entire economy. So goods and services will inflate, and then wages could possibly inflate to keep the inhabitants' head above the water. This would amount to a run on the dollar. As with a bank run, we would not be able to tell ahead of time when such an event would occur. But our economy will be primed for it as long as our physical trajectory is unsustainable. And the point of this article is that debt, okay, drives inflation. Habakkuk 2:6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him? Him is referring to the nobility of Edom. They control this entire system. And Esau's capital is America. A proverb is nothing but a wise saying, and say, woe to him that increase that which is not his. How long? And to him that layeth himself with thick clay. That thick clay in the Hebrew is going into debt. All right. Debt destroys an economy. And Esau is utilizing this, right, to promote what? Job 5:12, he disappoint the devices of the crafty. The crafty, referring to the nobility of Edom, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. Enterprise in the Hebrew means success, referring to the new world order. And he disappoint is referring to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. All right. Lord, will you edify? Shalom.